Hi friends, my name is Sive. Welcome to my booktube channel, Stories in Sive. I am going to be vlogging through Realmathon this month in March, which is a competitive teams-based readathon hosted by Covers with Cassidy. This is her 4th year doing it. This is my 3rd year competing in it, and I have joined Team Stags. If you are looking to participate, it is not too late. You can still sign up, and I'm going to link the announcement video down in the description for you to take a look. There are 4 teams in total, and like I said, I'm on Stags, and our goal is to basically at the end be the ruler of Carrion City. So I am in a family who is fighting against these 3 other families for control and power in Carrion City, and the way that you do that is by using a book to attack another team or using a book to defend your own team. The prompts for each are different. There's 15 prompts to attack, 15 prompts to defend, and for a book you can pick 5. There are bonus prompts for each team. My 2 bonus prompts are if there's plants on the cover and if there is a main character that is not a human. And lastly, there is one bonus prompt that is applicable to all of us, and that is if the book has an urban setting. That's my brief overview, and like I said, if you would like some more detailed information about how to sign up and just more questions, go and check out Cassidy's video. I'm gonna be vlogging, like it's a weekly vlog. It's gonna be quite simple. I'm gonna do 4 throughout the month of March, and then there is a 48-hour readathon called Peace Talks that I'm gonna do a separate video for. So if you like bookish content and reading vlogs, go ahead and subscribe to my channel because I'll be doing that all throughout the month of March. Starting off with some current reads, it's March 1. Hi, welcome in. This morning I started The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. This is the 2nd book in the Mistborn series, which is Brandon Sanderson's self-proclaimed entryway point into the Cosmere. This is not my first Brandon Sanderson series. I've read Skyward, which I really enjoyed. This is gonna be my first physical read. I'm extremely excited about this book. I really enjoyed book 1. I gave it 4 stars, but I've been thinking about it a lot recently in the last week, and it could be getting bumped up to a 5 soon. Just a heads up. The next book I'm reading is an audiobook. I typically, if you are not familiar with my reading pattern, I read a physical book and an audiobook at like all times. I pretty much always have one of each going. So my audiobook right now is Slaying the Shadow Prince, I think, by Helen Schauer. I don't know how to say her last name, and I should look that up. This book I found because one of the defending prompts is any 5-star from a host of this readathon, and this is one that kept popping up. It meets a number of other defending prompts. There's plants on the cover. One of the main characters is not a human, so it's not necessarily a romantasy that had been on my radar before doing research for this specific readathon. So I am saying this is a Realmathon read. I was gonna read this whether or not I was participating, but Slaying the Shadow Prince is definitely something that was not on my radar before this. I'll let you know more. I think I've literally listened to like maybe 40 pages of this, so like very much at the beginning, and I'll of course let you guys know my reading progress, my thoughts on all of these books. And happy Realmathon. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful month. Welcome to spring. I'm ecstatic to be doing these videos. If you would like to check out my last year Realmathon vlogs, I will also put my readathon playlist that I have on my YouTube channel here in the description as well if you would like to check that out. With that, I'll love you and leave ya, and let's have a great reading week. I am about to go to my good friend who I go to book club with is throwing a Mardi Gras party, and I'm gonna listen to my audiobook on the way there. This evening, after this, I'm going to take a shower, take my makeup off, and yeah, gonna read. And I'm excited about it. It's gonna be a very wonderful Saturday night. Hi, good morning. It is the next morning. It's Sunday. I am here to give you a little reading update of what I read yesterday. My cat is in need of some attention this morning. This is Binks. If you guys have not been on the channel, this is my cat. So first thing is The Well of Ascension. I did get a little further in this book. I made it to page 65. I have loved this series. The first book, like I said, stuck with me a little bit more than anticipated. If you are not familiar, this is a series with a magic system that is all around consuming and burning metals, and each metal allows a different ability to be bestowed upon the user. However, most of the time, if you're an Allomancer at all, meaning you can burn a metal, which is quite rare in and of itself, most of the time you're a noble and you can only burn one. The Mistborn series is obviously a very important word. Mistborn is a person who can burn all of the metals. Our main character, Vin, right up here, is a Mistborn. In the first book, we are following a set of characters who've been rallied together by a gentleman who is trying to get the people group that has been oppressed, called the Ska, to rebel against the Lord Ruler. And the Lord Ruler is an immortal being that has been ruling over the city and the country for 1,000 years. There's a huge, massive battle at the end, and we are tackling the devastation and the fallout from book 1 in here. This series has been on my radar for a very long time. This is one of my priority series for 2025. I'm happy to be working through that a little bit more during Realmathon. I decided I wanted to do something that I really want to be better at. So before I picked up the Well of Ascension, I had finished a series, a duology of a historical fantasy. It was an almost 500-page book, not exactly the most fast-paced read, and I felt a little exhausted when I finished it. I still went ahead and picked up Well of Ascension. I've decided I'm going to divide up the pages by 10 days, try and finish Well of Ascension in 10 days. After I finish my quota of pages, which is that 63, 64 pages, I get to read a fun book. So I think a palate cleanser is going to be exactly what I need. This is Duke Undone by Joanna Lowell. So I had some extra time last night to get into this. I only read like 25 pages. The tone of this is so different from Mistborn that I can just see it being like an exciting little treat to get into. So a few things that allowed me to pick up this book. It is an urban setting set in London. There's 2 people on the cover. There's flowers, so plants on the cover as well. There is a wealthy character. There's a few of the defense prompts that will work well for this. It won't get me the most points ever, but I am anticipating it being a quick read. So I got this from my library. That's enough chat. Like I said, today's Sunday, so I'm going to be serving in church today. I have a walk with a friend, gonna get some fresh air, some outdoor time, and then I have the rest of the afternoon to hang out with Jared and yeah, get some reading in. So I'm excited for the day. I'll talk to you later. Hi, it is late afternoon on Sunday. I've been reading for the past hour or so, and I'm kind of feeling like I'm getting more tired. So I'm going to get up an atom here real quick. I'm going to use your assistance for putting away some books. During the reading month, I set aside all the books I read, and then at the end, I will stamp them with my little embosser, the ones I want to keep. We're gonna do that together, and I can show you a little bit more in depth my bookshelves. So we read 3 books last month in February, and I read Mistborn, which is obviously the first book in the Mistborn trilogy. This is a fantasy. I read A Sunny Place for Shady People by Mariana Enriquez, and this is a kind of just general weird, a little bit of horror anthology. And lastly, I read another fantasy. This is a historical fantasy. The Radiant duology was wrapped up with He Who Drowned the World by Shelley Parker Chan. Let me grab my embosser. The only one I'm gonna do at this time is Mistborn. This is definitely a series that I'm gonna keep on my shelves for basically forever. And that's how I treat my embosser. I gave A Sunny Place for Shady People 3 stars. I gave He Who Drowned the World a very unreluctant 3 stars. I really wanted this to be a 4. I mean, it was a 5-star prediction because the first one was a 5-star, but because of that, I'm not going to emboss either of these. I'll give it some more thought, and if I want to later, I totally can. Here is my little embosser. This was given to me by a good friend of mine. I think she bought it off of Etsy, and it says Cy Rubinson's Library, from the library of Cy Rubinson. The other thing that I'm just gonna put on the shelf is the box. I'll probably just face it out this way. So this is what we need to find space for. So let's take a look at my fantasy shelves. Okay, let's start with the tough one first. She Who Became the Sun is the first one of this, and so she needs to go all the way up at the top there. I'm considering moving this lantern somewhere else as that shelf. I really like the Clockwork trilogy being on its side like that. This shelf is going to be where Sanderson is going to go. Down here on a different shelf is the Skyward series because this is YA and also this is sci-fi. Up here, this whole middle thing is my fantasy. I'm gonna take this middle grade off and put this on the right shelf. And then to fit the whole trilogy, I'm going to go ahead and move this lantern here at the end. Like I said, easiest last. So this is the easiest because I basically have a lot of space to work with. I don't know if this should go in my weird sci-fi dystopian stuff or if this should go up higher in my horror. I'm tempted to put it on this just because I have Life Ceremony by Sayaka Murata here as well. And this is also an anthology collection that was very strange and weird and out there and had some horror elements, but ultimately just felt like general weirdness. And so I don't know if it's because they're anthologies or they're both translated work, but like in my brain, they match up well together. So I think for that reason, I'm gonna put it in this section. Okay, so that was fun. I like seeing my shelves grow and morph and change a little bit. My book is over there, but I will go ahead and let you know that I've gotten to page like 125, 130. I think I'd like to read a little bit past, you know, my quota for the Well of Ascension today, because I'm thinking ahead to a night, Tuesday night specifically, that I will not have a lot of time to read. So I want to maybe read an extra 20 pages or so. So I'm gonna get back to that. I will of course let you know when I pick up The Duke Undone, which I have been thinking about like all day. I'm really excited to get to read just a few more chapters of this. And if this is a slow going, like fun, fast-paced read for me, I'm gonna be pleased with it. So let's get back to reading. Hello, good morning. A quick reading update for you before I head into work. I was able to read a really good amount yesterday, so let's start with The Well of Ascension. I did follow through with my plan and went ahead and read a little bit into the page count of what I needed to, intending to use that towards Tuesday. Like I said, I have some plans. So I've made it to page 157. I'm probably about a quarter of the way through this, and I'm really enjoying this. This has a monster element in it. This has a lot of politics. There are two armies outside of this government's doorstep trying to take over their city. It is very high stakes. Also, there's a character that's been introduced that's like this watcher, and Vin sees him all the times when she's out on patrol, and he just like follows her and just like interacts with her. Sometimes they fight, but he never tries to kill her. And then like just now, in the last few chapters, they had a conversation, and I'm so excited to see where that goes. So I'm very intrigued and enjoying this book. And after I had wrapped up those pages, I went into my fun read, Duke Undone. I forgot like how quick these read, so I got like into this page 134. So I read over 100 pages of The Duke Undone yesterday. It's hard to be like enemies to lovers in a contemporary setting, in my opinion. I think it needs to be like a fantasy setting for it to be true enemies. Yeah, they don't like each other. So they have entered into this agreement. He is going to advocate using his position of power for her street, essentially has been like condemned, and everybody is being kicked out, including her aunt and her dress shop. His sister like eloped and ran away years ago, and he like caught word like 3 years ago that she was in like a certain section of the town that Lucy lives in. She's not interested in coming home. She ran away. It was like a whole like disgraceful thing, as like, you know, this setting and time and place typically does. Hopefully that makes sense, but she's gonna help look for her and just see if she can find her. So yeah, the romantic like banter scenes have been like 2% of what I've read so far, so I'm hoping that the romance kind of gets going a little quickly. I'm actually trying to analyze this for myself a little bit. I thought that I was like a slow burn romance girl, but for some reason I'm like a little impatient with these two. Don't know what that's about. I'm going to go to work. I'm hopefully going to try and read Well of Ascension on my lunch break, but we'll see how that goes. And I will talk to you guys later. Happy Monday. Hi, good morning. It is Tuesday morning. Before I head into work, let me tell you, I have not given you any update, any semblance of a plot at all about Slaying the Shadow Prince, which has been my audiobook. And it was because yesterday I was, maybe 20% of the way through it. And it's a classic enemies to lovers. She's a hunter and he is half the species that she is like employed to kill, called Shadow Wraith. I don't have a problem with that, and I was like really looking forward to it. But yesterday I did read the majority of this book. I am now at like 88%. I'm gonna wrap it up today. I'm not DNFing, but I'm not enjoying this. I do not think that this is for me. The relationship is way too fast moving, which is hilarious because I was literally talking about how the Duke Undone needed to move quicker. Talamir, the guy, spills a secret to Drew, the girl, at like the 30% mark that he's actually never told anyone. And these two are in a tentative alliance as they go and pursue a similar goal. But holy smokes, is she not your friend? Like, why are you telling her that? Additionally, when the word love got thrown around, I was not ready for that. Like, y'all are not there. Unfortunately, that does kind of suck, but I will say that there is like a small plot that I am like relatively enjoying. I like the quest, I like the travel and the story. I really enjoy Drew's like best friend, and she's like the commander of all the soldiers. I think her name is Adrian, and I really enjoy her and their friendship. And then Talamir also has a friendship. It's in more of like a mentee-mentor situation, but his name is Wilder, and so I really like enjoy reading their friendships. But unfortunately, I'm not into Drew and Talamir's relationship. Their banter isn't very good, and yeah, I'm kind of ready to wrap this up. I have a lot of audiobooks on deck to start, you guys, that will get me a good amount of points, so I don't know what I'm gonna start next. It will just be kind of like the vibe that I'm feeling. But I am about to head into work and I'm going to finish this audiobook, and I will let you know what I pick up next. Good morning. I did not manage to chat with you before leaving and getting in the car. So that is why you're getting this car shot. It is Wednesday morning. I really wanted to go ahead and give you my thoughts on, I did finish Slaying the Shadow Prince. I did not think that the ending really saved much of the book. I unfortunately believe that this might be my first 2-star of the year of 2025. I can't really, give it a 1-star because 1 stars are like, I can't believe I didn't DNF this. 1 stars actually should not happen. I should DNF a book before I give it 1 star. Man, I did not buy their chemistry. I think they fell in love too quick. I didn't really see evidence of their relationship other than infatuation. And honestly, he is a war sword, which is a specific type of trained soldier that is like in a specific guild. And I don't think he's ever like told a woman anything about himself. So the first woman he like told something about himself, he fell in love with. I was not really caring about them as a couple. And in a fantasy, I don't think that that would have meant that I give the book 2 stars, but because it is a romantic fantasy, like that is the genre that we're in, so much of the page time was dedicated to them, and it made me like the book less. I did enjoy the final battle. I enjoyed like what they're trying to accomplish, the actual plot of the conflict. I really liked. I think that's the thing that would make me give it 2 stars. But unfortunately, this really wasn't for me. I did go ahead and submit that book, Slaying the Shadow Prince, yesterday. And even though it was a 2-star, first book of Realmathon finish, I'm so excited. So I went ahead and started another audiobook, which is Legends and Lattes. I'll leave you there and we can chat maybe a little bit more tonight. I have some time, and I hope you have a good day. Good morning. It is Friday morning. I have not touched base with you in like 2 days because of how busy I've been. I thankfully though have actually been able to keep up with my reading, mainly because of audiobook listening, I won't lie to you. Additionally, when the evening comes around and I've been reading Mistborn, I just like have read Mistborn, not giving you an update, and went to bed. So I've made a lot of progress since I spoke to you last. Audiobook wise, I went ahead and finished Legends and Lattes yesterday, and this is a cozy fantasy, low stakes, like fantasy story that everybody seemed to love when it came out a few years ago, and I'm a little bit late on the train, but can completely understand why everybody adored this. It was so good, very beloved. I think I'm actually gonna give this 5 stars. So our first 5-star of the month, our first 5-star of Realmathon, very, very exciting stuff. And for being a relatively short book, it actually got me a lot of points, which is also a plus. I went ahead and started The Cruel Prince, which has been a book on my TBR since around December. I got it at like a Christmassy book swap and was excited to give it a try. A friend of mine, Abby, basically tempered my expectations of like, this is YA fantasy, this isn't romantasy. This is a well-loved trilogy by Holly Black, and it's been around for a little while. She's written other books in this world, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm about 60% through The Cruel Prince, which is very, very good. I can totally see myself finishing that today. Jared's parents are having us over for dinner, and we're gonna have some smash burgers, which is gonna be really nice and fun. So I will touch base with you after all of that. Today is Friday. I have 2 appointments today, one like both in the afternoon. So if I can keep myself energized into the afternoon, I slept so poorly last night. That is just going to be my goal. Love you all very much. I hope you're doing well, and I will talk to you later. We did it. We made it. Friday is here, and I'm ready to talk to you about my books. I have a little bit more time to read tonight, but before I get into it, I just want to talk to you about the Wall of Ascension. I have been slowly progressing my way through this book. I think I am solidly at the 2/3 point. I'm not gonna finish this tonight. I'm gonna be bringing this book into my weekend. It's okay, that was the plan. I've kept up with my page count of reading 65 pages a day. I do need to read another 30 pages tonight to hit that for today, but I'm really proud of myself for keeping with this, and it has not been hard. This book, plot-wise, is giving me every single twist that I could possibly foresee, and even the ones that I couldn't have. I don't think that there are thrillers that do twists and reveals as well as this book has. Mistborn follows a world that is covered in ash and riddled with metals that can be used by allomancers. There's only a certain type of people who can use metals and ingest them for superhuman strength, hearing, pushing and pulling, so like influencing telekinesis almost. People can even riot or soothe others' emotions. We follow Vin, and in the first book, she is part of a thieving crew, and she's picked up by a group of people who notice her talent for a specific allomancy. And she doesn't know what it is because she is of a people group called the Ska, which are oppressed in the Lord Ruler's regime. She is picked up and is basically targeted. You need to be a part of our heist group because we're going to take down the Lord Ruler. So this all happens in book 1. The result of the end of book 1 and setting us up for the Wall of Ascension is just a huge political upheaval. There's a lot of moving parts. We see our characters essentially try and rebuild a government. So yes, this is heavily on the political side, and I am loving it. We follow one of our kind of main characters was a side character from book 1 that has shifted up front, and he is so deliciously complicated. He is genuinely trying to do his best, and it does feel like there is no good deed goes unpunished. Anytime he tries to do something good for the Ska people, that maneuver actually ends up hurting somebody else. This has created a reading experience that has me pained, anticipated, and fully in suspense of every page. There's monsters. There is kings attacking the city. There is assassins, more fight scenes than a girl could want, and a character called Zane. So I'm really loving this, eating it up. I feel like I haven't read it in a little while. It's literally just yesterday that I've read it last. So very excited to get more into this. I unfortunately did not read a whole lot further in The Cruel Prince. I've not been able to do a lot of reading today. I was definitely hoping to be able to finish that book and give you guys a wrap up of, or a rating of 3 books, but because I won't be finishing The Well of Ascension and I didn't read enough of The Cruel Prince to make it a reality for me to finish that tonight, that one is not going to be on this list. So I guess you just have to watch next week's vlog and I'll give you my rating on it. I do feel like a lot of like my enjoyment of The Cruel Prince so far is vibes, which is really unfair to the book because I do feel like she's crafted like a very solid other world that our main character got like taken into at the beginning of the book. Whether it was to do with my own focus or slight disconnection to certain YA characters are written in a very angsty, impulsive manner. Who I am as a person, I don't relate to that. I don't connect to that. So I would say that I don't like our main character that much, but it has not stopped my enjoyment of the overall story because it's not a first-person book. It's not her head that we're in, and we do get to see and hear from a lot of other characters, including her two sisters. That's all I've got for you guys. I am going to read a little bit more tonight, but ultimately that is everything that I have for this video. I will pop back in tomorrow morning just to let you know page count and everything that I read this week to round out this video. Good morning and welcome to the roundup of this video. So first week of Realmathon is done and I am very excited to tell you that I finished 2 books and got a lot of the way through 2 other books. Starting out with Slaying the Shadow Prince, you guys know, did not enjoy this one. I'm gonna give this a 2-star for the reasons that I talked about before. I like the world and I might visit another standalone in this world, but I wouldn't say I necessarily enjoyed my reading experience. I did go and move into another fantasy book, Legends and Lattes, our beautiful, cozy, low-stakes fantasy book that I gave a 5-star to. I'm so happy to have given a 5-star to a book so early in Realmathon. I'm really hoping for a lot of 5 stars this month. I've only had 2 so far this year, which is unacceptable. I absolutely loved the story and the tone of it. The vibe was immaculate and exactly what I needed. I cannot believe that I put this book off for so long. I'm excited to read Bookshops in Bone Dust. I might not do that in this month, but we'll see. On to the physical reads, let me chat really quickly about The Duke Undone. I did not read any more of that book later in the week, so I am sitting at page 134. I'm excited to finish this. I am going to prioritize this, especially this weekend and the first few days of Realmathon next week. If you want my opinion on any of these other books I'm about to talk about, make sure you subscribe so that you can see the next video I put up. Historical romance set in Victorian England. It's gonna be some fun. I'm excited. Next, I'll talk very briefly about The Cruel Prince. I made it to about 70% of the way through, so I'll give my thoughts in the next video, but I am really enjoying it. I don't know if it's necessarily like a 5-star read, but I really like the world. However, I've just passed the 2/3 point and a huge catalyst just happened. So I'm very, very intrigued to see how our characters handle this change in power, this shift, this huge dynamic shift that we're about to have to process. And lastly, we'll talk about The Well of Ascension. I did do a little bit of reading last night. I read about 20 pages and we're just really like, it's about to go down. I'm very nervous and scared, terrified to read it. I don't know if I'll immediately pick up the next book. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it was a lot more like reading update than vlog vibes, but I'm very excited to let you guys know that I'm actually going on a trip next week. We are going to West Virginia to do some skiing and snowboarding, and I'm very excited to bring you along with me. It is going to turn into a fun little travel vlog for you guys. So if you like this video and other bookish content, feel free to subscribe. I would really love to have you. Other than that, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.